One of the fatal flaws of MBAs. We're going to talk about that. This is George Sloan. I am the host of the MBA Accelerator channel. This channel is dedicated exclusively to all things MBA. If you are a professional that is thinking maybe I should go and get an MBA degree because I want to level up my career, or you're a middle manager who wants to move to the next level, this is the place for you. Let's talk briefly, have a candid conversation about MBAs and a fatal flaw that they fall entrapped in all the time, and it's they get too hung up on the numbers, and quite frankly, uh, MBAs do have strong analytical abilities. They sometimes get lost in that, and yes, you want to be objective and you want to make decisions based off of nothing but the facts, and we hear talk of making data decision making and the importance of it, and it is important, and you should have data literacy and the ability to perform analytics and look at things from a objective, cold perspective. But the fatal flaw of MBAs is they kind of miss out on the human factor. They kind of forget that, to get anything done, you need to interact with human beings. You need to work with customers and clients. You need to work with employees and colleagues. And you're going to need certain abilities and skills in order to work with them successfully. Some of the things I would highly recommend, again, going beyond the pure analytics and perspective that most MBAs take, you need to look in terms of the people factor. And what am I talking about? You might want to learn a little bit about change management, the ability to deal with people who we all know everyone is resistant to change. Everyone is resistant to change. So, what are some of the ways that you can deal with that? And change management is an area of study that you want to add to your toolkit. And I've spent quite a bit of time looking at that. What are ways to get people to buy in? And that's a good way to think about it. You want to get them to buy in. One of the tricks that I use, I tend to try to plant seeds with people and if and give them, what I call a journey of self-discovery. Why do I do that? Because they have to feel like it was their idea sometimes. It's just human nature. It's not trying to be manipulative. It's just trying to get them to buy in, get on board, and collaborate with you in a way that you're going to be able to get the results that you need. Um, and when I say you need, I'm talking about the organization as a whole. You need to get folks to get on board and move in one direction. When all the ships are moving in one direction, it's a very powerful thing. The other thing you want to work on, leadership. Leadership is something that a lot of MBAs think they know about, but they don't. And leadership sometimes involves, the way I describe it is this: you can be appointed a manager, but I've known a manager in my past who they were manager in name alone. And they were, if I had to describe them, they were a boss. They delivered edicts. They didn't seek advice and counsel from their team members who actually had some very good ideas. They were just a boss, a manager in name alone. Now, managers, you're managing people, you're managing situations, assets, so on and so forth. But the thing that you really want to strive for is to be a leader. And a leader is going to seek, consensus, is going to give people the opportunity to rise to the occasion, and it's going to set people up for success. A true leader doesn't necessarily do the real work. That's not to say you do nothing, but a true leader is going to clear the path so that their people can do their job and do it in an exceptionally rewarding way for both them and the organization. So leadership is something that should be worked on. Another idea, emotional intelligence. I talk about this all the time. I think a lot of people think when they hear emotional intelligence, oh, that's, soft stuff, and I'm being emotional. It's not that. It's the exact opposite. Emotional intelligence, true emotional intelligence, is controlling your own emotions. When the shit hits the fan, you don't panic. You stay calm and you do what you need to do. You don't let your emotions run away with you. You don't exhibit anger. I'm a big movie buff, and one of my favorite movies to watch when you want to learn about emotional intelligence is actually two of them, and it's the original and it's the sequel, and that's Godfather 1 and 2. One of the things that you'll notice that Don Vito Corleone never got upset. He never got out of control. He stayed rational. He stayed cool, calm, and collect. His son Michael, same way. He was calm, cool, collect. Very rarely did he lose his temper. Now, the opposite end of that, if you're into that movie, is to look at the older brother, Sonny. Sonny let his emotions and his temper get in the way, and it caused problems. Not that I'm suggesting that we do criminal enterprise activities, but from a human perspective and the things that an MBA should learn, that is a prime example of emotional intelligence in action. So if you want to avoid the fatal flaws of MBAs, where they only look at things in terms of numbers, they only look at the analytics, and they sometimes forget that it's people that actually move the needle at the end of the day, whether it be dealing with yourself, dealing with colleagues, dealing with subordinates, dealing with clients, and dealing with customers. These are skills that MBAs really need to work on. And I know it's given lip service. I've seen it in action in business schools, but the way you really learn this is out in the real world, in the wild. And I highly recommend that as part of your ongoing education, you start to focus on some of these things. There's some others, and I'll share them in subsequent videos, but this should give you at least a primer. Avoid that fatal flaw of only looking at the analytics. Look past it sometimes and consider the fact that there are people involved, and people are a very difficult thing to deal with and negotiate with. These are some of the things that you're going to need to deal with to get success for both them and you. Again, it should always be a win-win situation whenever possible. If you're interested in this kind of material and want to learn more, stick with us. It's the MBA Accelerator channel. Please consider subscribing. I would also appreciate a like and subscribe and a share. When I say share, I always say to people, listen, don't keep us a secret. Let other people know about us, because again, I'm looking for a larger community where we can have intelligent conversations that help improve everyone's game when it comes to this. With that, thank you, and we'll see you the next time.